Okay, what's happening out there in the world of Facebook and YouTube? And where else are we? Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. How are you? And then we're working on Instagram right now. So give us just a second. We are into episode 19 here of the 20-minute showdown. We've got Bobby Davidowitz out of Orlando. Oh no, Siri, we don't want you. All right, let's try again. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So welcome YouTube, welcome LinkedIn, welcome Facebook, welcome Instagram. So we are live on all the platforms. Glad to have you guys. We got episode 19 of the 20-minute showdown. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're logging in from. Tell us what you do for a living. We got our special guest that will be joining us here in just a second. We had just lost him on our Facebook platform. What's up, everybody on YouTube? What's up, Instagram? Instagram's over here. What's up, IG? Go ahead and say who you are, where you're logging in from. We'll be starting in just a second. Episode 19. We got Bobby Davidowitz with us today, real estate extraordinaire, Bobby franchise. What's up, Mara? What's up, Chris? Uncle Dan. What's up, Uncle Don? Uncle Don, Atlanta, Georgia. How are you? Welcome, LinkedIn. Welcome, YouTube. How you doing, Michelle? CJ, what's up, buddy? You're in Grand Rapids? What are you doing in Grand Rapids? Colton, how are you? Welcome. Jamie, how are you? Excalibur, welcome. All right, guys, we're going to get going here in just a second. 20-minute showdown, which is 3 questions. What's up, Sweden? We got Sweden representing. How you doing, Sweden? Been a long time. Atlanta, how are you, Mr. Heath? Glad to see you doing well. Welcome, Chris. If you're watching the replay, just go ahead and put replay in the comments. Take a second to share this out to anybody you want to share this out or tag some people in, whoever you want to tag in. And tell us where you're joining us from. 20-minute showdown, episode 19 today. We do 3 questions back and forth live. We've got a kick-ass entrepreneur, real estate team leader. What's up to Tanya? What's up to Sylvia? All right. We got Bobby on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. We're just waiting for him to join us here on Instagram. As soon as we get him locked in Instagram, we'll kick off. Donald, 94 years old, still going strong. I love it. You've always were the epitome of health, brother. I want to be you when I grow up. What's up, Adam? How are you? Monica, Nicola, Catherine, how are you? Elena, what's happening? Tell us where you guys are joining me from in the comments. What city, state, country? What's up, Bobby? Welcome. Hit that ask to join. Here we go. Going live. Give us a second here. It should tag you.
What up? What's up? What's up? We figured it out.
Mexico. Mexico's in the house. And here he is. What's up, Bobby? How are you, brother?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. I figured out the technology. We're good. We're here.
We're good. Your IG's pointing at the ceiling, but other than that, we're good.
See, I got a first timer. I'm a first timer here.
We gotta have your Wheaties. What's up, John? We got people so far, brother. We got people from Sweden. We got people from Italy. We got people from Portugal. All over the U.S. We got Mexico. So we're live on 4 different platforms right now. And for those of you guys that don't know, we do this every week on Tuesday, the 20-minute showdown, 3 questions with an entrepreneur or top sales professional. We go back and forth. He doesn't know what I'm asking him. I don't know what he's asking me. And we're just going to have some fun with it. And, I'm excited to have today's guest for episode 19 because this is a gentleman I've recently met over the last probably 4 or 5 months and have built a phenomenal relationship with each other. He's up there in the Orlando marketplace. And he's got a very cool backstory that I won't spoil for you in two different industries that he's, climbed to the top of and had a lot of fun in and built great companies and brands and teams. And he's now got a great organization in the real estate world, building a huge organization in Orlando and beyond with EXP. Let me bring on Bobby Davidowitz. Bobby, what's up, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? Glad to be here with you. We haven't known each other for long, but I feel like we've been brothers for a long time, man. It's one of those things, man. We just got that connection.
You're an easy one to click with, my man. And so I didn't want to steal your thunder, but tell everyone your quick 2-minute version of your story, and I'll give them mine. We're going to dive deep.
Sure. So originally from Puerto Rico, I've got this very Jewish last name, so I consider myself a Jurican. And so moved to Central Florida when I was 5 years old. Grew up here in Central Florida, went to University of Florida. And basically, when I got out of college, I was completely lost. Had done everything that everybody told me to do, got good grades. I played sports. I did all that, but I was looking for, what was next. And out of nowhere, kind of real estate found me. So the first thing that I did in real estate was I was a loan officer. Met a guy at a gym. He's like, "Hey, I'm opening up a branch of a lending company." And I was like, "Dude, I'm ready to do anything right now." And it was funny because before this, I used to think that business was synonymous with boring. Like I just didn't. I wanted to be in the entertainment game. I just there was something about business. I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna end up being this guy named Bob." Sitting in a cubicle 40 years later, and that scared the shit out of me. So, but then I got into business and I realized it's a game just like anything else, right? It could be fun. It could be exciting. And so quickly after that, became a top producer as a loan officer, then opened up my own commercial lending and residential lending company with a partner, did that until this fun thing called the market crash. And then I kind of went on this kind of 7-year journey. I kind of got hit on the first cycle. I was young. I was 27 years old. I didn't understand market cycles. I was highly over leveraged. I lost all my stuff. My car got towed out of my driveway. I filed bankruptcy, lost my house, all these fun things. But I knew at that time, because I was heavy into personal development, that this was my learning experience, that if I could take the lessons that I learned during this time and fight through it, that at some point I would have the chance to capitalize on a market shift like this. Well, fast forward 7 years, I actually went and pursued a ton of stuff in entertainment, marketing, branding, worked with a good buddy of mine named Nick Nanton for a few years, and then was kind of, again, at a transition point where I felt like I have to commit to something. And that something has to lead me to my ultimate goal. My ultimate goal is financial freedom. I believe that everybody has the same goal, and it's to live life on their own terms. And I don't know any other way to do it besides financial freedom. So real estate once again called me back into the game, literally call out of the blue from a buddy, got me back into real estate. I already had my license, so it was an easy transition in. And then ended up finding this brokerage in downtown Orlando where I'm at. And I just felt an energy and a vibe there. I hung my license there, ended up meeting my business partner, Gil Ramos. He was the broker, and sure enough, became a top producer again, became a coach, a mentor in the office, built out the coaching and mentoring program for the office. And as I continued to grow in that sense, Gil and I started to talk about what was next, where we would partner, and we were kind of reintroduced to the EXP Realty model. We researched it for about 6 months and decided that this was the future, and this is how we could scale what we already did well, which was personal development, coaching, and culture. We've been doing that for the past 3.5 years. I have 1,100 people in my organization, about 300 right here in Central Florida. And that's it, man. I'm an investor. I like to have a good time, but at the end of the day, man, we're in what we call the championship. So remember that last time I got hit on that cycle, guess what? Here we are again.
You're on top.
And I'm ready to capitalize on it. So
you're ready.
That's my 2 minute.
I love it. So I'll give you guys my quick backstory for those of you guys that I've never connected with. Welcome. I'm Nick from Miami, dad of 2, entrepreneur, but originally from Michigan, super blue collar, middle class upbringing. All 4 of my grandparents worked at the same factory. Dad, cousins, uncles all worked there. Brothers worked there. I found entrepreneurship at 18 through the direct sales networking industry. Didn't have any success at it for several years, but I learned how to overcome rejection. I learned how to sell. I learned how to recruit, and then I learned how to lead. Became a millionaire in the industry at 25. Company I was a part of went out of business, bought the assets of that company, created a company called Visalis. 15 years later, we had done a couple billion in sales in 19 countries, 3.5 million customers. It was an absolute amazing journey, and the highest of all the highs of the peaks, and the lowest of all the lows of the valleys, and everything in between. So, we had definitely saw it all and felt it all and experienced it all. And, now just out there building companies again. And I've got an organization called the Catalyst Group. And one of our primary focuses right now is Catalyst Solar launching a platform called Renewable Real Estate that brings agents and brokers on the real estate world to the right installers in the solar world, and does a commission split in the middle. So here we go. Let's talk about these 3 questions here. So, Bobby, I'm actually going to go to the entertainment side of your story, because I think a lot of people have a hard time making a shift from one industry to another industry and succeeding, or still finding joy and happiness of that. How did you make the transition from pursuing the entertainment world? I think it was specifically the music world for a while there, and you transitioned back into real estate from mortgage into entertainment, back into real estate. How was that transition for you? What were the things that were the same? What were the things that were very different? And what did you have to do kind of mentally to make that transition work?
Well, what's funny is in the first place that I realized that these 2 industries don't live in different places was when I was working with Celebrity Branding Agency, which was my buddy Nick Nann's company. And basically what he did was take entertainment concepts and PR concepts and applied it to entrepreneurship. And little by little, I began to realize that every company needs entertainment, right? So the reality is that if you're building culture, you're going to need events. You're going to need productions. Nice. You're going to need these type of things. You're going to need media. Do we live in a content world? Literally, I spent 10 minutes trying to get on every platform you're trying to get on. So don't tell me that your industry isn't about entertainment. But back then, we didn't even have those tools. So I think what's the same is that entertainment industry concepts, when it comes to media, marketing, branding, and content, you can no longer run a successful business without these things anymore. And once I came back into real estate, I remember telling Gil, as like, you know what, man, I want to become a real estate branding agency, because I understand now that the best marketer wins, that the one who builds the best brand wins. Now you want to back it up and deliver, but that was it. I think the adjustment that I made is I have a heart for creativity. Like I deep down inside, there's an artist, and that artist wants to come out, and it gets to come out sometimes in real estate. And when we create different things and do different things, but it's not the same as being in entertainment. Like there's still an element of creativity. I think that I've replaced some of it with a lot of public speaking and being on stages. There's other creative things that we do when it comes to planning events and stuff like that. But I want to get back to where we're really using creativity to do some really special things. And that's been the harder adjustment.
I love the statement you said, every industry is now merged with entertainment. What a great statement, because it's like, I think you said, try to tell me you're not in entertainment, but you got to put out content every single day. You got to shoot video every single day. You got to be editing the reels. You got to have the right copy and caption. And as the highlight of that quick story, the best marketer wins. What about you guys? Hit us up in the comments there. What are your thoughts on every industry is now merged with entertainment? How many guys are creating content every day? And what do you feel about the statement that the best marketer wins? Well said, well shared. And
you know what? And it got me used to being in front of the camera, and so that's the thing that a lot of realtors, have trouble with. They're like, this camera turns on, and they feel where it was like, dude, I was doing embarrassing auditions at 21 years old, so like I was already doing stuff that I thought was like weird. And I've done independent films. I've been in front of a camera. So like, I think the secret is when you start realizing that if you start treating the camera as a person, you can now talk to the camera. And so I think over time you kind of get used to that rhythm. So now we can do something like this. Like imagine 20 years ago, you'd be like, hey, Bobby, we're going to do this 3 questions unplanned. You don't know what's coming next. And it's going to be live on everything. I would have been like shitting my pants. Like, oh my God. Like now I'm like, let's go, bro. Turn it on. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, what are we live on? It don't matter. Only stands. What are we doing? I don't know. All right. So a great answer, brother. Okay. So I'm going to kick to you. Hit me with your first one.
Okay. So what is something in life or business that you would have done different?
It's actually a really easy one because I've been talking about it a lot. I did not value building a personal brand in the midst of the momentum curve of growth in building the company's brand. And this was 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, let's say. And, I thought in my mind that an hour spent to build personal brand was an hour taken away from recruiting, training, developing, scaling, expanding. And I had this negative association to building the personal brand. Also, I thought it was a little, it felt a little selfish and showy, etc. And I was already in an industry where if you did make a lot of money at it, that it came with a lot of challenges of the people that weren't having success at it, right? So they everyone wanted to say, well, that person's making all the money and none of us are, right? So you want to be careful about the personal brand side. So without a shadow of a doubt, if I could have changed something, I would have 10x, 20x, 100x building the personal brand to fuel the company's growth, as opposed to said to myself, don't build a personal brand. So now, guys that I've mentored and trained and developed have 1 million followers on Instagram, and I'm just grateful I cracked 20,000 finally, kind of thing, right? I remember when Instagram started to take off, and my marketing manager at the time was like, "Oh, you got to get on Instagram." And I'm like, "I'm not getting on that stupid. Like, give me a break. Bunch of kids posting their pictures of their food, And I was just such a hater, and it was a huge mistake. So,
So I think I feel like you and I are the same age, right? So
yeah.
So I think that I understand why, because I had the same reservations, even though I was in entertainment. This idea of being showy, or having to put your whole life out there, or just like I said, it's like, oh man, it's like another social media channel. Like is this taking away from my? So I kind of understand that, because we come from an old school mentality. That we didn't actually have these platforms before. We didn't have to do this, and now it's like people are like, no, you gotta do it now. You're like, I don't do it. But my follow-up question is where did it switch? At what point? What was the little bulb? At what point where you're like, screw it, I guess I got to do this thing?
So it was about 2017, but right when, like, me and my business partner Blake, we made a decision. We're going to carve out company budget. We're going to build our personal brands alongside of the company. We're going to go after it hardcore. And right when we made the decision was right when my separation hit. So the last thing I was thinking about is, how smiley, clappy, happy putting out content, let alone that content having a feeling of, do they know out there? Do they not know? Are they going to, so there was a lot of personal stuff going on at that time. So I told my business partner, Blake, I said, just build yours first and just figure out the roadmap, and then we'll build mine second after, the smoke clears, etc. So as I got on the other side, of my separation and then my divorce, and we started to create the roadmap, we then sold the company. So now I'm like, shit, okay, well, I can't build a personal brand now, because my personal brand I was known as founder of Body by Vi and half of the Power Couple. And within years, neither of those things existed, right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out this merger with the new company. Let's figure out what it's like. Well, I'll build the brand. Then once that gets, merged in, And that's what I started to do, let's say a year and a half ago. So I wanted to do it hardcore in 2017, but the timing just became way off. And by the time I was ready again, we're going into the sale of a company. I had to wait another year. So I'm just now getting around to do it. And I hate everything about it. But as I put in the comments here, I will TikTok my ass off now. Like I will, whatever it takes, whatever it takes. All right. Question number 2 for you.
Yep.
It was great because you referenced it in your story. So I don't have to pull back into it, but you had said, hey, I got my ass handed to me in the market correction of 2009. That was more than a correction. That was, the Great Recession.
The world caught on fire.
Yeah. And you said, I had done so much personal growth. Tell me about how, or even if you want to go specifics, this particular book or this particular entrepreneur or mentor, anything you want to go in specifics, what got you through those most difficult times financially when you're on top of the mortgage world, you hit the bottom, and boom, you came out a couple of years later back on top? What were those go-tos for you?
Well, first of all, I say it wasn't a couple of years later. I feel like there was a long road back. And to be honest with you, the road back was more about rebuilding my confidence. It wasn't as much financially, I think, that at that time, but to take it back, I started my personal development journey probably around 21 years old, really. A buddy of mine was always suggesting books, and I finally started to pick them up. And then I had also joined a multi-level at that time. And, even in one talk that I do called Investor Season, I said, that was one of the best things that happened to me, because multi-levels tend to be growth models, and growth models tend to preach personal development. And they got me on a journey to read books, obviously the top, things like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There wasn't a specific thing, but here's what I knew is that every success story that I had read had a crash in it, right? Like like some big obstacle, like the hero journey, right? And there was a time when, because I was young and I was doing pretty well, that I thought that I was going to skip it, that I was going to skip the crash part of the program. And when this hit, I immediately made the decision that, here we are. This is just part of the story. It isn't the end. This is usually where every success story starts to truly grow and flourish. And I knew it, even though it was still hard. It wasn't like, I'm just going to be whatever. Like, I went through it, and like I said, it probably took me a strong, probably 5 years just to feel like, a lot of pressure you put on yourself, a lot of expectation, a lot of times, you do things in life and people, and you start feeling like the weight of the world, like, hey, I've got to prove to everybody that I am who they think that I am. And when something like that happens and you start to doubt that you can do those things, I think that was the toughest recovery. But there was never anything in my mind that said, this is the end of your journey or whatever, because I was too ingrained in personal development to believe that. I knew that, hits come, and this was one of my hits, and I gotta continue moving the ball forward. So that's what I would say.
I love that you said that you never thought quitting never crossed your mind. You never thought for a second that I was going to quit. You never thought that this was the end of the journey. And I wonder how many people out there, and a lot of people be watching the reels or created this, how many people, they hit that failure and they just give up and quit and go back to security or safety. They pull back on whatever their dream is. And, you just kept pushing regardless of what was happening in the now. You had the steadfast faith that you were going to make it, no matter what. And man, out of all, there's so many things that are key to success, but when you start to narrow stuff down, that's really high up there. Where would you put that one?
Well, I think also it's worth mentioning that, prior to my personal development journey, I was always a big believer in God, and I always believed God's got me. I was raised in a religious family. I don't consider myself religious, but I do believe that God's got me. And if I'm doing the right things and whatever, it's like, it's all going to work out. Like, you have to have that belief that, when it all goes to shit, that God's always looking to teach you something and bring you to elevate you to another level. And I don't think you can have that right mindset without having those things. And you mentioned the reason I brought that up is you mentioned the word faith. And I think that, the Bible preaches it's the key to heaven, but it's the key to everything, really. Yeah. When you think about it, that if you don't have faith in, what you're doing and who you are, what you deserve, you don't have faith in the things that you can't see, you're not going to make it. I actually have a talk about, real estate is a faith-driven sport. You work first for the opportunity, for the chance to maybe get paid second. You got to have some faith. Right? You're going to do stuff first, and there's not a guaranteed paycheck out of it. And if you're not, a faith-driven type of person, real estate's going to be tough, for you. So that's what I would say there.
All of it's going to be tough. If you don't sales, entrepreneurship, solopreneur, whatever, it's all going to be tough if you don't have faith that there's better days ahead, or the yeses are around the corner, or there's light at the end of the tunnel. Man, what a great follow-up. Thank you for sharing that. Hit me with number 2, brother.
Okay, number 2. Okay, so if you had to focus on one world issue to fix, what would you focus on?
Ooh. It would have to be something in the child abuse area, because I'm a dad now, and I've got a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they're so fragile and harmless and just full of love and want to give love and be loved and hug and play. Who in the hell is so effed up that they want to hurt a child? And that can go anywhere from, physical abuse all the way up to sex trafficking, right? So I think anything that would be based around making sure that children were safe and protected as a basic human need. I think I have lots of empathy for adults that have issues and challenges. I do a lot for the homeless here locally. We'll go as a company. We'll go donate time at the shelters and serve lunches. But it's just another level when it comes to a child who doesn't have the means and the knowledge, the understanding, and the wherewithal to go take care of themselves. So
would you maybe focus, and I could see you doing this, would you maybe focus in the parenting space, starting kind of at the source there?
I don't know. Like, with things like Sound of Freedom, I just want to go punch some people in the face.
Well, I could get you connected, man. My buddy Dick filmed some of those missions, man. You could be one of them.
Yeah, I remember that. In fact, I didn't until you just brought that up. Like, I just had a conversation about this. It was actually with you. I had the conversation with you. Like, yeah, I would. I don't know. I don't see myself as an educator of like that level of stupidity. I'm not like, I wouldn't be patient enough to be like, let me teach you why not to hurt a child. I'd be like, let me show you what's going to happen because you're. So yeah, I don't think I'm that guy. I don't have the right level of.
So you want to hit it with the tip of the spear. I got you.
Yeah. I want to go on the manhunt for whoever's doing this, or work with the children to regain or rebuild their self-belief and trust. And
yes,
I think when you get more down the rabbit hole or path of what's more likely, I'd probably want to play sports with the boys and build their self-esteem back up and belief in adults and safety.
Yeah, I love that, because I would probably join you on that mission. I think we could probably add a lot of other things like entrepreneurship, and financial education, things like. But I always think about the kids, right? Like if we, because that's the future. Like I'm always looking for the solution to the problem that solves the other problems. right? And at the end of the day, if you have a crop of young people growing up with the right mindset, the right belief, the right belief in themselves, then all the world's problems are going to be solved by these folks. So it solves everything else. So I'm with you on that. So maybe we can
That was
partner
one
on
of the
that in the
best
future.
questions. That's one of the best questions anybody's ever asked me, by the way.
Good.
So
Good.
19 episodes times 3 questions. That's almost 60 questions. That's 57 questions. That is one of the best questions anybody's ever asked me. Thank you for asking that. I appreciate it.
Feel good about that.
So you get to pick one person, dead or alive, and you're going to lunch. And who do you pick, and why do you pick that person? Ooh, that's a tough one, right?
That's one of those. That's one of those crazy questions. I mean, there's the obvious. There's always the Jesus answer, but I'd enjoy speaking with Tony Robbins. I think that it's funny, as much as I love personal development, I really only started to listen to his stuff and actually attend. Mostly what changed my life was attending live his events. And I found him to be one of us, in the means, I felt like, matter of fact, you talk like him. So it's funny. But just the energy, when you experience that, he's down to earth, he's direct, he's forward. And and I think in a sense, like me, trying to simplify the complex so that you can take action on it. Right. Let's get down to the root issue. Is it, the self-worth and these different things that we have to shift in order to make there. But he's also an incredible entrepreneur. He's also, you're the father of challenge marketing, right? And he's the guy that kind of invented the term coaching, right? This kind of personal development coaching, before it was just motivational speakers. And then he kind of coined that term. And, there's very few people that have been doing it for 40 years at such a high level and continue to innovate and evolve. And he's also spoken to, what I like about him, I think a lot of people, they're like, oh, this Tony Robbins guy. But what he is a student. He's a great student. He gets around the best people at whatever it is that he's looking to learn or to help us with. And he's going to interview them just like we're doing right now and get those 2 millimeter shifts that are going to help you, take life to the next level. So, that would be a guy that I think we'd hit it off, man. I think it'd be like you and me, man. We were just like laughing and we'd talk about business and who knows, we might end up doing something together.
That's a beautiful one. Great pick. All right, hit me with where are we on? Are we number 2? This is my number 2?
No, this is 3. Was
that my number 3? Was that my number 3 I just asked you?
Is it? Oh,
was
wait.
It? Are we?
Devin, your ear pods are running on it. What happens?
Let's keep going. I'll get one more for you. So
okay.
anyways, hit me.
Okay. I got to go. How much more time will I have? Okay, cool. My bad. I thought I was running out of the ear pod time. All right. So I'm going to go my last one. It's my turn.
Hit me.
Okay. If there was a skill or an action that you could get paid to do, that you would be like, I can't believe I just get paid to do the one thing. So you didn't have to do any of the other things that you don't like to do. And we all have to do things that we don't like to do. But if there was one skill or action that you'd be like, man, if I get paid to do this thing, this would be it because I do it so well and I love to do it. What would that thing be?
I think it's developing top talent to find that last 1 or 2% that to help them dial in that last 1 or 2%. So much of my career on the front end was flipping the light bulb on for people just to get started on their journey. Like whoever flipped the light bulb on for you at 21 and me at 18, and so much of my journey was that. But as I got older, I realized my lane was really finding the people that were really good at something and helping them, get even better at it, right? Specifically inside of the line of business that we were in, right? So I think that's it. It's and I like to be tied to their result, right? So that's very important. Meaning I don't want to start a coaching company where I coach people to become a performance coach. I like working with those people very closely and having my results tied to their results as their leader financially, right? So I think it's developing top performers inside of an.
Would you set it up in a way where you got like a piece of the upside, or you just need to be tied to the result?
No, yeah, for sure.
What I did led to this.
Absolutely tied financially. So for me, I would, right here is my purpose statements up here. And I have 3 circles there, which are everything I do, I wanted to align inside of these 3 circles, which is joy, impact, and revenue. So I'm driven by, here it is. So joy, impact, and revenue. I'm driven financially, right? So if it just makes me happy, I'm not going to do it. Or if it just makes an impact, I'm not going to do it. If it just makes money, I'm not going to do it. But if it does all 3, if it brings me joy, if it makes me money, and it makes an impact, I'm in. So back to your question, I would have to be financially tied to the outcome of the people that I'm working with, because that's one of the drivers for me.
That's awesome. And I totally understand this idea of getting them to that, getting top performers to that other level. Yeah. There's something about that. Like I've done the same thing as you, where I've coached from 0 to, I like that analogy, just turning a light bulb on, and it's a heavy lift, but there's some people that I call like my one conversation folks, where it's like, I can have one conversation with them and they immediately change their circumstance. Like within the next 7 days, like it's like they went from no deals to 5 deals, or they go from, because they're already there on all the other levels. It's just something that you were able to just a little bit, and then and then you feel like
they're already equipped, right? They're equipped to go do what you're telling them to go do.
And like you said, there's more immediate gratification. You actually see a result immediately, right? Yeah. So I totally get you on that. I'll totally get you. All right,
that's probably like was it Jennifer Wade? She was one that popped out at the event. She came up to me. She says that I needed to hear that one thing, and she's a person that's fully equipped to go kill it.
Absolutely.
She just needed that one thing, right? Or just whatever it was. So
that's it.
I know we went 3 and 3 already. I've got 20 people standing outside. I can actually see them outside my door that are going to come in for a training here. One quick question. Why are we the same age and your beard is completely dark and mine is half white? Like that. I want to know what you got going. Well, I want to know what you got.
I got a couple of. Well, first of all, I didn't even know this happened. So I didn't have a beard until I don't know, 3 years ago or 2 years ago. So I didn't even know it grew like this. And then people started getting mad at me, just like you, like I don't understand why yours is dark black. I have multiple theories on this, but I can tell you that I haven't been married and I have no kids. So I'm not going to tell you that that's the secret, but I can tell you that it helps.
It helps.
It helps because I think everything else you've done pretty much the same. I mean, you're a healthy guy. You do the right things. You know what I'm saying? We're the same age. You're big into personal development. So we've got all these things. There's only one thing I can look at and see that we have different.
Okay, actual closing thought. Everybody out the door. Everybody can only they got to do 3 things. The 3, no matter what they do in their career, if you're going to be successful, you're going to be a top performer, you must do blank, blank, blank. What are kind of those 3 things for you? And we'll close out.
I think first, once again, the problem that solves all problems, right? Which is number 1 is you got to become a personal development addict. I think that you have to understand that there's so many forces trying to get into your mind and have real estate in your brain. And this is something you have to clear out on a daily basis. You have to hear the programming over and over. And by the way, it never stops, right? So the first thing you want to do, because at the end of the day, you don't want to rely on anybody else to self-improve, right? So to me, if, start diving in somehow, some way, first thing in the morning, into personal development, into something that inspires, motivates, teaches, elevates, whether it's spiritually or business wise. Number 2 is I think you always need to be focused on what your unique ability is and continue to shed things. All of us, including myself, do things in life that we're not really passionate about, or that, aren't really our strong suit, but you think that you have to do that. And I think that you have to continually ask yourself, what do I do best? And that question that I asked you was a question that I asked my business, but that question about if you were to get paid to do anything, and you'd be like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this thing. Like, what would that thing be? And it might take you a while to figure that out. I remember asking that question to my business partner years. I remember I was sitting in the car with Gil. I don't think we were even business partners. We had maybe had some investments, but I was like, dang, Gil, I was like, if you were me and you were to get paid to do anything, what would it be? And he kind of was like, oh man, great question. And he's like, you know what, Bobby? Because if I were you, I'd get paid to connect. Like you are the connector, man.
You are a great connector.
You're the connector. You build a relationship. You get paid to connect. And literally within a year of that conversation, I think we were introduced to EXP, right? And we were in a connection model in a sense. And I've been diving deeper into that ever since. And I guess I'll end it with, you got to have faith, right? So, you have to, believe in things you can't see. I think once again, having a foundation with God and having that belief that, God's got you. You were made in that image. You have not attained the potential that you could even possibly imagine or fathom. There's more, and that's kind of my drive all the time is, the one thing I don't want to do, Nick, is look at myself, 80, 90, whatever. I'm going to live to like 144. That's neither here nor there, but at least, but I don't want to look in that mirror and be like, man, I didn't push the envelope, man. I didn't give it everything because I didn't believe that I had it. Because that's the thing. You have to believe that you have that larger potential. And I actually have a fear that I won't reach it. So I go pursue it every single day. So, that would be my thing, become a personal development addict, find what your unique ability is, man. And have that faith, that you were meant for more. And there's way more in the tank than you would freaking believe.
Good close, brother. Episode 19, 20-minute showdown that took us 40 minutes. Wrapping up. Me and Bobby drop some wisdom on you. Put in the comments what you learned or what was your key takeaway. Bobby, where can everybody find you at?
Easiest way on Instagram is at Bobby Franchise. So just find me on Instagram.
Bobby Franchise, posting it now for everybody. And everybody, if you want to connect with me, please go to nickslinktree.com and all my social media is there. We appreciate you guys. We thank you guys. And can't wait, Bobby, to reconnect with you as soon as I can and knock out some biz with you, man. Love working with you.
Let's do it, brother. Same here, man. Take care.
Bye, everybody. And stream and